Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome at my chair Professor Mei-Hsin Wang from Yunnan University in Taipei. Today, me being Christoph, holder of TUM, meaning the Technical University of Munich's chair for patent and trade secret law here in Munich, Munich being Europe's patent capital. We've met here today in order to discuss common projects that we're planning, especially on patent quality, because patent quality, as we know and as you know, is the key issue that the patent system must face and that the patent system must succeed to manage. We're sitting here in my chair's old library. It's not really the best perspective somehow because we have sort of glass windows in the back, but that is part of the luxury here. Our books and journals are in cupboards with glass doors, so that essentially is a good thing. I think, Mei-Hsin, you may want to start with your presentation now.
Thank you very much, Professor Ng. It's a great pleasure today for us to share my research with a good intention, hoping in the future two universities could build up more close relationship in research and development. So today I would like to share my work on AI and big data analysis, predicting technology, how to impact the current legal practice. As Professor An mentioned about the patent quality, so today I would like to focus more the case study, and I will use Nanotech and Biotech technology to prove why and how we use the AI big data analysis to support the IP for decision making and also deal with the problems. I'm Professor Mei-Hsin Wang from National University of Science and Technology. So welcome you after the lecture to visit my university for work, for research, or for pleasure. You are always my guest. As I mentioned last time, my university was one of the top universities in Taiwan with many achievement and credibility. So it certainly worth for your paying. You paying this visit. I would like to show without AI and without big data analysis in old days how we deal with the difficulty when we have to confront with the challenges from IP. And this is the case when I work with Takeda Pharmaceutical. We have to sue the infringer, right? But you know, pharmaceutical, you don't file a patent until the end. At the beginning, you have the molecular, you file one patent. So this is for lowering hyperlipidemia and hyperglycemia. Once you have a better data, we find out it has better efficacy on controlling hyperglycemia, then we file another patent. Of course, we file tons of patents, more than that. This is just an example in suit. Then finally, we have choose certain molecules. I'm an organic chemist. That's the work I did in the laboratory. We did tons of synthesis. We can change R1, R2, L1, L2 with all different molecules in order to find the good one. Even how to choose L1, L2, R1, R2 with suitable molecule can now have been supported by the AI system and big data analysis system. Because they support, they could give us a lot of decision to save time and choose the better target to do. So finally, the best target is this molecule. This molecule, that means in this position and that position, we will have C2H5. But if you were the competitor from other from the gene farm, what will you do? You will certainly challenge us double patenting, right? This molecule is covered by previous patent and certainly covered by this patent. But in pharmaceutical, if you have sufficient reason, it will not surrender the patentability because
C2H5 is not a nuclear. It's not a electrophile. Nucleophile, that would be easy because if they donate electron into this, the benzene ring, they need electrons. But C2H5, they are not electron rich. That's why if you want to add C2H5 into this place or this place, you need special effort. So when you spend the effort and you have reasonable diligence to prove the effort is not mandated, then you will not surrender your patentability. That's how we overcome. So deal with the patent litigation is not only the texture similarity, but there are also scientific rationale as well. In this case, we also found out what I would like to tell you is why we face patent litigation very early stage when we launch the product, because the whole series of molecules developed by Takeda Pharmaceutical in Japan, but we licensed the first molecule, triglyceride, to Park Davis in the United States, and we licensed this second molecule to Glaxo Wellcome in Europe, and we keep this one until last time. And the first molecule caused a tragic because I experienced the process, so I know the detail. 27 patient passed away. So US FDA immediately stopped the clinical trial, and the stock price of Park Davis dropped a lot, quickly acquired by Pfizer. But luckily, Glaxo Wellcome have great success. We didn't have many side effects. But when 27 patients pass away, is it serious or not serious? Depends on the clinical trial design, depends on the size, depends on the patient's condition. People will try a new medicine. That means, well, depends on the clinical trial design. In this case, they are severe patients. Of course, they have weaker. They prone to suffer from kidney failure or liver failure. That's why they're particularly weak. So it's hard to say, but in a developed country, clinical trial where it's very difficult to tolerate the disaster with more than 1,000 patients pass away. So we figure out this is the case. They taught us the lesson. It teach away from what? In old days, we all think the main features are from the mother molecule. Those side chain, tiny change is the case we told this R1, R2, L1, L2. It doesn't matter. But in this case, it indicates we change in the side chain. That means we change this R1, R2, L1, L2. They change the toxicity. So it's safe for the whole molecule, the mother molecule. If we choose the safe side chain, it's a good product. Therefore, Takeda Pharmaceutical launched this product eventually and quickly patent phase out, 20 years protection with extend 3 to 5 years clinical trial time. Still, we face a lot of litigation, but it's a lesson told us, teaching us all. So in all, patent litigation have profound knowledge about technology. It's not just AI, big data, statistics. Yes, they support decision as well. Regarding the litigation, monetization for patent, I would like to draw this attention because we are in university lecture. Twin University is the leading university not only in Germany but also in Europe, I believe. So this may be your interest, and I believe let me address this case as well. This is the patent circulation through the litigation stage. I would like to show you the complicated situation with the drawing. The mother molecule is this one. This is the mother molecule. Mother molecule developed by Emory University. And the young professor, I met him 30 years after in Moscow. We were young when we were in Imperial College London. And the young professor was poor, of course, difficult to get funding. Fortunately, a rich student, not rich student, is a student from a big company, from Wellcome. He joined the university, he joined the professor's group, said, "Professor, don't worry, my company can sponsor all the fees, but you must license this product to our company." Thereafter, they continue. The student graduate, get his PhD, and then the company continue to develop product. Of course, the university also did further research. So have another side chain. You see, FTC is the mother molecule with displaced fluorine. And this 3TC is this molecule without this side chain. So now you understand why I have the previous case to make you easier to understand the case. So there are the minor changes. The mother company owned by the university licensed to Glaxo Wellcome. This is the final merger company called GSK, Glaxo Wellcome, GSK. This is the prior company. Then one day, good idea. Everybody tries. So the biopharm also synthesizes 3TC because university publish papers. Everybody learn from paper, get new ideas. So university have FTC, also have 3TC. Biopharm also have 3TC. But normally company prefer licensing from or acquisition from corporate because university have some vital acts in United States, and in Taiwan they will not allow the exclusivity, so they only allow the license. Complicated situation in university. Therefore, they decided to invalidate Emory University patent. They provoke the university drastically. So university hired Citibank as a financial consultant to design the securitization. And they also hire a very capable litigation team. So they have, I think, 40 attorneys, spent 6 years litigated all the cases. Some of them win, some of them lost. Why? Because it passed the law. In old days, United States is first to invent, but now it's first also follow the world trend. It's the first to file. So the law changes. It takes years. So finally, university own the ownership, but they give the exclusivity 3TC to Glaxo Wellcome. There's lamivudine, very famous oral medication for liver, for hepatitis B, hepatitis. The FTC were licensing to try the final company is Gilead. And I would like to tell you the structure of this securitization. This university received 525 million. The 525 million will pay 65% from Gilead and 35% from Royal Fund. Royal Fund is a very well-known securitization corporation. But I think the fund is a little bit big, so he asked Gilead to join together. What I would like to tell you is on the day of announcement, Gilead's stock price 3% up, so he earns 625 million US. Deduction, what he has to pay for the university, he at least earned 268 million US for this securitization. I would say Gilead is a very good company. He has joined medicine patent alliance and supporting giving low price or free drug to the developing country or infection disease. Is a company with good reputation, but if they do not have smart financial measurements based on the intellectual property, I think it would be difficult. For example, then how is the university feel about this deal after 30 years? I met the professor think by the time they received 225 million US was too little. Because the medicine is very expensive. In Taiwan, we in old days, I think 15% of our, I think very high incidence and very high prevalence. In old days, they're only interferon or transplantation, they could deal with the liver progression. But this is the first oral drug, and FTC is the second version. Lamivudine is very famous antivirus medicine, and it was also the candidate at the beginning of this pandemic, because it's an antivirus drug with hoping they could cure COVID. So it's a long synthesis process, so everyone can change the synthesis. But so the pattern, now you understand pattern have many different types. It could be the molecular pattern, process pattern, and it could be formulation, it could be the improvement, and it could be mass production, it could be in formulation, it could be medicine with device. So there are all kinds of patterns. It's a very interesting field. So here I just would like to draw your attention. Financial tool, it's very interesting and very helpful means to support research development and protect IP business. Another very famous IP company, their business model I would like to show you is the intellectual discovery. In our first lecture, I have told you they smartly acquire first-class patent from LSI and Proton before they merged together with Avango. It is a company founded by Korean government and also the leading company in Korea. And they have three company. One is Ideal Bridge, it's Ideal Venture, and it's Ideal Intellectual Discovery. Ideal Bridge helped small medium corporation, and Ideal Venture, they support inventor, independent researchers, and the intellectual discovery support the bigger corporate. They do technology-based investment, IP-based investment, IP securitization, IP debt finance, IP R&D, and IP pool licensing business, secondary fund, IP debt finance, with all kinds of financial tools, instruments to protect, develop, cultivate intellectual property and make the maximum profit for that. It was a very unique company. Where is the business from? If you look at, this is the chart I use, Pattern Cloud, the system I introduced in the first class, which embedded the algorithm, big data, and also coded with law inside to check the validity and pattern quality and pattern class. So if you look at the quality of the CAST is the best research institute in Korea. I was the intellectual property, intellectual discovery consultant, so I'm friendly with all French Korean universities. Their quality profile, as you can see, this is a leading university. Obviously, the profile is very good, because if you compare with the general companies, the A to A class to B class, there could be only 25%. More than half, there will be C or D. But you see, the D class only 30%. There's a very good profile. But value-wise, you can see ABC, there's only this minor. They have more than 75% of the value versus D class, because they don't have sufficient, they are research institute. They don't have people, they don't have team, they don't have tool to help them promote, licensing, monetize their pattern. So that's the opportunity. If we have AI, we have system, we have platform, we have big data, we help them to find potential licensee buyer. And we have easier process, blockchain, embedded with a smart contract, and we have system check validity, and contact person could easily find a contact person, make connection, interaction, and negotiation and contract on the platform. Then there will be a more chance for monetization. And ITRI is a leading research institute with plenty of essential standard pattern. It's the same. You can check their deep class pattern is even minor than 7%. Yes, less than 7%. So they have more than 92% of good patterns. But the high value pattern is such minor. They don't have team to promote, to sell, to license, to monetize, to enforcement their patent rights. So that's the opportunity. Same in most of the country in the world, it's not only in Korea. So that's why they also intrigued me to help this to the Zoo system and patent crawl this system, and will help them to promote their system, hoping bring out this idea, and then the whole world patent liquidity will be improved. I would like to show you how patent crawl can do more than you can imagine. They have the validity inside, could check validity, help us search pattern with advanced technology to explore keywords, technology, corporate relationship, which we have mentioned in the first class, and also design search to find the similar arts. But I help company they grading their pattern, helping them to do the decision. So value-wise, quality-wise, as you can see here, this is I use blockchain. So we can also retrieve technology-wise qualification. For Japanese company, as I mentioned, they could have abandoned 38% of patent. That means over 63,000 patents. There are many companies, they don't even have 63 patents, not to mention abandon 63,000 patents. But here we can also, statistics also can reveal a lot of information. So if we want to do merger acquisition, there are many things they couldn't hide. Here you can see the reissue 19. That means they successfully saved 19 cases. 19 patent was being challenged, but they managed to save the patent by amending the patent or convince the judge winning the case. But however, they also lose 21 cases. 21 cases. That means these 21 patents involved in great economy value. That's how people will spend time and effort to invalidate the patent. So with Zeus, as I mentioned, if we have the platform, patent registers on there, and you have the system that could review the quality, validity, and value, and you have smart contract. There you can deal with the negotiate, deal with contract and payment, and that will be ideal. So the ranking for those, they have the classification, network relationship, pattern, texture similarity, and the number of claim element match. So they will show you. They will show you the quality, value, and they could also show you the test for comparison. But however, the idea have to be greatly accepted by all the users. So working on that, and you can see if patent office on the chain, blockchain, patent user, patent owner, whoever interested in IP or on tier, then anything change, patent granted, patent paid an annual fee, patent transfer will be transparent and real time. What is the benefit for the real time? Because not every patent office, they update their website every day. Once a week, twice a week, once a month, they are reasonable. Therefore, if you do merger acquisition or you want to decide the validity, they somehow have the time gap and they will make the data not so correct. So the asset transparency visibility certainly will be improved. You know who is the owner, you know who to contact, you know where to interaction. The cost, as I mentioned, could be reduced drastically. the current time, most of the corporate with a certain scale, they will use CPA Global, but you still have to pay the attorney in individual countries for what we call the agency. It could be, they will certainly charge you, depends the attorney agency you hired, and then you still have to pay office fee. But if everybody is on this chain, even patent office on the blockchain, then you can remove the middleman. And if the scale is big enough, the platform could charge less, then you only need to pay patent office. You don't need to pay agency in individual country. So that certainly you save money, and patent office will be happy. You have more money to maintain more patents. Okay. For the standards to qualify the patent, they could if you're not satisfied with what I just mentioned for tools, they use the classification, class, network, texture, claim structure. This is another system. Patent crawl we use. Of course, the outcome may not be the same because the rules they use percentage, but patent crawl they use grading. You may also have a third opinion, fourth opinion. They all have their principle and rule to grading their patents to decide the quality and value. But here is qualification for inventor, applicant, citation, technology life cycle, pre-grant assignment and licensing for value factors. Quality factor that could be attorney, examiner, prior art, structure of the patent claim, independent claim, dependent claim. That's the system, and they embedded the regulation into the system to support the judgment. Here I would like to show you in this system, they could immediately help you to find out whether the patent is valid or expire with the quality. With the patent family, they could also indicate it. You can see, you can check full text patent family, citation, history, original document, etc. Even for the patent family, they would tell you whether they are expired, issued, post-grant publication, or they are still on the process. Another case I would like to share is Transmeta versus Intel case. Last time we briefly mentioned with AI and big data analysis, we can easily find more potential infringer to sue to continue his litigation business. We can also help the potential defendant infringer to invalidate the Transmeta's patent. But here, this time I want to show you is we actually diligently analyze these 10 patents. And as you can see, quality always D, C, but the value is A or A class or B class or AAA because they indeed win 250 million US. But through the rules, you see the score is 70 something, 60 something, always around 70, 60. So that means they have too many prior arts. According to the originality, they were standing at a 70 something position. That means their patent very easy to be invalidated. As you can see, we further break into the independent claim. Each one, the scores are also very low. So I show you this detail is how if in the future we can train students to doing this kind of learn the skill like this. When we read through those data, 70 something, that means that the patent can be invalidated easily. Actually, Intel doesn't necessary to pay 250 million, right? But the analysis certainly take time. So this is just to show in those research data. Okay. This is a future. We hope the legal, the research, monetization, commercial, service provider, finance, anyone interested in the business, they could all join together. And then this class, I would like to focus on the case study, real case. For example, if you have plenty of the inkjet printing patterns, what can you do? Because inkjet printing is getting out of date, although it's still in the market, still running, but laser printing is the trend. So how can you use your inkjet printing technology patterns to your profit for your company? So that's the applications. Maybe you can atomize jet inking to the semiconductor, or have the art development, printing your coffee or printing your biscuits or printing the medicine, or become the to develop some arts as well. So that's how we use the big data and AI, try to figure out to find out a potential future business. So we met class population, all the work to search, and then text mining, clustering, identify possible applications. That's how we do. And then we have to find out strengths, have different, it could be technical-wise and structure-wise, with different category, try to identify your potential partner, and then write down the SWOT analysis to harmonize all the possible resources in the corporate and see what would be the most possible cooperation partners. Because if you are already in printing industry, do you have connection to Johnson & Johnson or Cisco or Samsung or iRobot? Right. So this is, you have to write your strengths and weakness after you doing all these pattern technology application analysis. Another use is another usage what I found very meaningful is also I experienced. When the pattern, they were translated to different language. A lot of the people, they use the machine translation, and therefore the claim structure become very odd. And if you put into the system, there's no good claim. But if you don't know your pattern claim is no good, and you're still paying to maintain your pattern, and the maintenance fee are often high, there will be a waste. That's the tragedy, because people don't know, and it happens all the time. For the English pattern translated to Chinese, or Chinese pattern translated to European pattern, language pattern, that happens a lot. And the worst, if you didn't know the strengths and weakness of your pattern, what will happen? You file a lawsuit, and your competitor or your infringer may just invalidate your pattern. That happens on the Cleveland Clinical Foundation. There's a Cleveland University, and his pattern was invalidated by the True Health diagnosis. So if you don't learn new skill, the more you do, the more you lost. So we often train students to do the quality and value analysis for both party, defendant and plaintiff. And we analyze the pattern through pattern cloud, have the validity, class check, and then we also use rules to learn where the originality, the pattern and pattern claim stands before making decisions. So there's nothing wrong if you continue to use your own skill, but if your competitor learn new skill, then you will suffer a lot. That there was really the real world happens. So in particular in pharmaceutical field or very competitive 3C industry, that happens a lot. This is another case. So this is this Cleveland case, and we analyzed he would very possible suffer another attack, because we quickly analyze the top 80 similarity arts. We found out he has more threat behind. So this is how the example I want to show you, and this is my smart student, like very, very cute and diligent. Okay. The next case I want to show you is it's a Similar International LLC, and GNC. GNC is a very famous nutraceutical company, right? And high-tech pharmaceutical. So this aggressive action without catching on new skill on litigation you may not even can get back your attorney fee even you win, because we check with the quality. Is the quality doesn't good, value high. When we study the case, patent expired, but of course during the litigation is not. Patent value, the overall patent is 37. Claim 140, 48 is okay. It's okay for the fighting, but this case want to teach you one thing. Although your patent quality value analysis is okay, but you have to evaluate the damages, how much you can get it back, because damages compensation based on what you should earn and what you have lost, what you have suffered, or the market, or based on the judge-specific factors for calculation. But if your attorney fee is too high, it's not worthwhile. This is the case I want to show you. Our students also do every patent analysis, so you can see all the patents. Quality and all good. Yeah, it's worthwhile for litigation, but another concern is how much damage you can win. And if it's not worthwhile, you pay more attorney fee than what you can get. So we have the lapse, that means they didn't pay the patent. So the quality, yeah. So this is done by my other group of students. And the third case is again targeted pharmaceuticals case. I feel I was very fortunate to once work with this company, learn all necessary skill. They amend the patent brand during the litigation. It's a nitrogen containing heterocyclic compound used the same. So this is the NK2 neurokinin. This is a group of neuropeptide. It's a peptide trachycardia receptor antagonist, have an acid antagonist effect. So when I work with targeted pharmaceutical, they always win. Japanese are very careful. I think you work with different company in different countries, they have their unique features. So the patent quality and value are all good, and the score was okay. So during the litigation, under vulnerable circumstances, there are too many similar art that we can see, because too many similar arts, but they can amend the pattern from time to time. So this is where you can find similar arts. We use those to find it out. So after they survive this time, there may be another attack. Okay, this is the patent involved. Patent quality C is still okay. So heterocyclic medicine. Eli Lilly case. We have mentioned we always wish students they have the quality and value evaluation for both parties. Why? Once you have accumulated more information, then you can learn you can have the statistic data, how this your defendant or plaintiff prone to react or cross-responded. This is how we have to analyze both quality and value. But this case I want to show you is if Eli Lilly's policy, they always eliminate competitor from the market exclusively. No matter they will win or not, they would like to intimidate all the competitors. So they will sue anyway. So this is a type 5 phosphoesterase inhibitor. The medicine, a similar effect, but not similar mechanism for Viagra, Cialis. So that's for male function. We check with the patent. Quality low, value good. Of course, the market is big, but too many similar arts. So for small company, for this company, they were sued by Eli Lilly. What can they do? They know the patent. So small company, so this is a Los Angeles Biomedical. If we want to defend Eli Lilly for small company, you may seeking for merger or acquisition, but it's a package company. For BMS or Pfizer, their potential to buy, they would like to buy. So why I identify BMS and Pfizer would be the potential buyer for this appellant based on this data. So from this data, we can learn which company, for example, Pfizer and as I mentioned, BMS, Bristol Myers Squibb, they are in the field, so they will have the potential to buy. After they acquire you, they have the bargain power to deal with Eli Lilly. Otherwise, small corporate, very easy to be eaten up by the big corporate. So this is when we deal with the case, we are not only trained students for doing big data analysis to learn essence from the IP, but we also train them to deal with real world legal problems. This is the very first biosimilar medicine. The Sandoz seeking for ABOA recombinant analog. For granular colony stimulation factor is a GCSF. Engine and Sandoz both are big company, but we have to do the analysis. So from this, from the chart, we can learn both company, their patent are good. Basically, pharmaceutical company, their patent profile always good because pharmaceutical medicine R&D invest too much. They have to be very careful. But for value-wise, they are also doing very well, much better than manufacturer, consumer or other general manufacturer, mechanical manufacturer company and 3C company as well. The recombinant analog is a deficient is to treat neutropenia, a deficiency with white blood cell. So you can see, well, I just want to show you the quality C, value D. That means they still need to put a lot of effort to improve the value. Because normally what we see is value higher, grading higher than quality. We rarely see the quality is better than value. That means they didn't put enough effort to, but the patent expired. It's a bit, now it's expired, but when they were dealing with the litigation, they're okay. So here you see the overall patent score 84, but claim 1 is 41. It's okay. If you see the major decisions on claim 1, less than 50 is worthwhile for a fight. That's all after we deal with a couple hundred cases. So this is the standard case we see for this patent, quality AAA, value C. So that means engine still need a lot of effort to monetize their patent. But another problem could be because engine, they're doing this kind of protein biosimilar medicine, they are very expensive. The patent pool is not as large as hypertension or diabetes. So this is the comparison with for every patent in suit. We do the analysis for the quality and the claim analysis as well. Polyneuropathy painkiller. This is the case. The next case is painkiller. Again, you see quality B, value C. So a lot of effort can be put on to improve. So we analyze every patent in suit. And also, so this is a litigation. Endo is a company very good at use their patent for securitization, monetization, developing, or marketing. That's where we focus on this case, but how we know? We retrieve the data from those. They will have all the record what the pattern have been done, reassignment, or they have paid a payment, or they have transferred payment. So you from those information you retrieve from those, you can also learn from that. But why I know they have the money securitization, pattern securitization, because here you see Morgan Stanley. They once reassign their patent to Morgan Stanley, and then they transfer it back for this litigation. So this is often, if you have, and then you see again, he had a second securitization again. It was again transferred to Wellington Trust for funding. So here you can trace a lot of information. Every time they need money, they work with they use pattern for pledge. So they are very clever. So they have been working with JP Morgan Chase Bank, Morgan Stanley Senior Funding, and Deutsche Bank New York branch, and Wellington Trust. So they are very flexible on pattern monetization. So this is the company you have to pay special attention. So quality B, good pattern. Value A, good, because they have been using pattern for monetization all the time. And you can see the claim structure, the score is also good. Okay, so this case is beta aligning. Beta aligning is a neutral surgical. They could, we have 20 basic amino acid which we have to take an everyday from the food. We cannot make our body cannot make it ourselves. Beta alanine is one of that, and beta alanine was patented long ago, but after it has the bitter taste until very later stage. They have some specific syrup formulation to make it not so bitter, so make it our nutrition. So they use some intracellular pH muscle, whatever. So we check again. We just look into the pattern, quality D, value B, the pattern scores. So what quality C for another pattern, and value B. Normally they use a bunch of pattern, not only one pattern for litigation. So I just want to show you the blockchain AI new technology that does help give a lot of advantage how we can deal with the everyday problem to secure our patent right, to monetize our patent right, to get more return on investment. This case is strategy-wise. I want to show you. I will use this. LED industry, they have very strong patent alliance. It was this fine. Okay. Sharp join later. So they will not allow other company join their circle. Of course, they have upstream, middle stream, downstream supplier. Taiwan is very fortunate because we were once colonized by Japan. Nijang is Japanese company. Toyota Gauche is Japanese company. Osron is a German company. Now have sold to China. Cree is American company. Philip LED is a Dutch company, and they secure the industry. Why I say that? Because solar panel industry bankruptcy worldwide. If the company still survive, that's because the government policy support. Otherwise, it's difficult to make sufficient profit. People always complain it's because the Chinese dump too many cheap stuff to every place that make the other industry bankrupt. But LED industry, they did not allow this happen. But Osron is already acquired by Chinese. So in those days, they strongly against Chinese company, and they will not use Chinese product. So this the industry situation. But what I would like to mention is the litigation from this lady. This lady is Professor Rothschild. He sued Cree, he sued Philip, he sued Toyota Guzzi, Osram. You see, Philip Lumine, Toyota Guzzi, Osram. So this is the top 4 of the top 5, and they all settled and pay 100 million to her. Of course, there was her friend, those very powerful Jewish attorney, IP attorney, and they continue to sue the whole supply chain over 30 companies. Even the company are not on the defendant list, they pay the fees. So this, what I would like to say, is a strategy. You sue the leading company with a reasonable amount. She asked for 1 million. But attorney fee could cost 2, 3, 4 million. That's why the leading company, they decided it better settle rather than going to the litigation and may damage the stock price. So once the leading company pay, the rest of the company all pay. So she was awarded over 50 million US. And the case was finally closed. Why? Because the patent crowdfunder, he passed away last year, my dear friend. He developed, he have done a lot of treatment as a Taiwanese. He's a legend. He's a legend even in the IP world. He founded this company and he invented Professor Rothschild's patent. So sees this patent work. And you may wonder then, the rest of the company, should they ask Professor Rothschild to return the money? Of course not, because if you check the patent, claim 1, 0, that means the originality. There's no similar arts. It's very unique, and originality is 100%. And the claim 1, 40, claim independent claim 10 for 0. So the score are very low. That means his originality is very high. So there's no wonder those company, they have to pay. So this is how we somehow, if company asks us whether they will settle or they will go to the litigation, we always give them this chart. If you read the figures is 0, just pay, settle. If it's 60, 70, 80, 90, then it's worth for the fighting. So upon, I would like to mention monetization skills. Financial tools for IP is very important because investing on IP is huge resources, and there's nothing wrong. No matter you securitize the litigation, you use tokenize, you tokenize the patent, equitize your patent. There's nothing wrong. The final case, the Ebola vaccine, it was acquired by Johnson & Johnson by my friend, Professor Nachop. He told me on the day of announcement, Johnson & Johnson price up more than 2 billion. So you may ask, Ebola, it looks more terrible, more scary than COVID, but why COVID caused such drastic impact? Ebola not. My friends told me a joke, not very funny, but it's true. We say the African walk, they travel by foot, but Chinese travel by plane. So the virus flew everywhere. But what I would like to say is, you see the upfront payment, equity investment, milestone, and supply contract in excess, there was 187 million, and invest another 43 million for the company. But compared with the 2 billion in one day for stock price up, they could be continued for many days. So we will encourage our students and our friends. We focus on more interesting financial tool to profit from our intellectual property, because we saw sufficient funding, that's nothing can be done. This is my presentations today. Welcome questions. So if you need to read more detail for those cases in our book. So thank you very much, and thank you, Professor An. And now we can have our Q&A section.